Here's our application problem. I've already done most of our problem solving steps, or the first two parts. What is the question asking? We want to know the cost to make one apron. And the second question is asking if we want to make $1.75 profit on each apron, how much should they charge for each apron? Let's look at what our numbers represent. 1 25 hundredths is the amount of fabric needed to make one apron. $3 is the cost of the fabric for 1 yard. 4 5/10 is the amount of trim we need for one apron. Trim is what goes around the outside of something. And then $2 represents the cost of the trim for 1 yard. So let's draw a tape diagram and let's let the whole piece of tape represent the apron. Okay, so let's go back and let's think about what we need in order to make this apron. Well, we need 1 25 yards of fabric. So 1 25 yards of fabric. That is what we need for one apron. And then we also know that we need 4 5/10 yards of trim to make this one apron. I ought to put yards and yards. Okay, so let's think for a second. What would it cost for us to buy enough fabric? Well, we know that the fabric is $3 per yard. So we would need to multiply 1 25 yards times the $3 per yard to figure out the cost of the fabric. And then the trim is $2 per yard. So we would multiply 4 5/10 yards that we need times the $2 per trim per yard for the trim. So let's do some multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15. Put down the 5, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 more makes 7. 3 times 1 is 3. Count the number of times the decimal moves in the factor, or in both factors. It moved 2 times here. It didn't move at all there, so it's going to move 2 times here. 1, 2. The fabric costs $3.75 to make one apron. The trim, 2 times 5 is 10. Put down the 0, carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, and 1 more makes 9. Count the number of times the decimal moves in the factor, and it moves that same amount of time in the product. So, folks, that's pretty expensive for the trim. We need money to go to the hundredths place. So actually, that is $9. Okay. The trim is going to cost us $9. The fabric is going to cost us $3.75. I wonder if we answered the first question, what does it cost the club to make one apron? Oh, we still have to add $3.75 for the fabric plus $9. Line up those decimals for the trim. And then when we add, we know that in order to make an apron, it's going to cost the club, it's going to cost, if I'm the head of the club, it's going to cost me $12.75 to make the apron. Okay, that answers our first question. Then they want to know, take a look down here. I'm going to answer the second question. Here's our apron. Our tape diagram. It costs us $12.75 to make one apron. But then in the question, it says if the club wants to make a profit, that means after they have spent the money to make it, the $12.75, if they only sell it for $12.75, that's called breaking even. That means they haven't made any money. So to make a profit, they have to charge more than it costs to make the item. So if they want to charge $175 more than what it costs to make the apron in order to make that profit. So we're going to add on to the price. This is what's called the profit. Okay. So how are we going to figure out what we need to sell this apron for in order for us to be able to keep that $1.75 per apron? We're going to add $12.75 plus $1.75. 5 and 5 is 10. 7 and 7 is 14. And 1 more makes 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we would need to sell each apron for $14.50 in order for us to be able to make a profit or keep $1.75 for every apron. Good job, guys.